Good evening, I'm Joe Ginger. Welcome to part one of Navy J-50. J-50 was a high-rise on the naval base in Norfolk, Virginia. That is where I slept in 1961. I made this video for my granddaughter, Crystal Hornback. Crystal was the one who's asked me the questions on this video. We made this a video around 2015, but decided to share it with you now. J-50 Part 2 will be available soon. Part 1 and Part 2 will be on YouTube under Canton, Illinois, Joe Ginger. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Crystal Hornback, and this is my grandpa, Joe Ginger, and today we're going to start off by talking about your time in Norfolk building J-50. Can you tell us what happened in building J-50 where you slept in 1961?
Okay, what we're going to talk about today was before I got married. But anyway, on J-50 was a high-rise where our sleeping quarters for the sailors. It's one of the buildings. But anyway, I will tell you about this here one incident. On this wing that we was on, it was shared with Filipino kids, and everyone else. Now the Filipinos were good guys, but something happened to get something started there. So what happened was, I don't know who started it, but whatever, it got pretty bad. It's that while you're sleeping, that it's funny now, but it wasn't funny then. But anyway, is that all of a sudden, Filipino kid or somebody else would run into their room and hit them right in the head when they sleep. hit them right in the head, and then take off and run
with their fist.
Oh yeah, hit them hard, and well, of course they started screaming, hooping, hollering, and of course, everybody run out. Even the person who did would run back out like, "What's going on? What's all this noise?" And all the lights come on, and guy comes out going like that, I mean, where he got waylaid. Well, it just so happened that this got back and forth. I mean, I was really worried too, because I could wake up, somebody hit me in the face, because it was quite a bit of it going on. So you first heard any noise, man, you jump up, everybody run out there looking around like who did what, Of course, the person who did it, which I don't know who it was, is that would be out there looking. I'm sure out there looking around too, like who did this, But it actually got so bad is that they had to post a guard up there on our wing. And you had to sit there in a chair the whole night watching and make sure nobody jumped out of their barracks, which was cubicles, which 3 people would have the cubicle, see, and one would jump up and run another cubicle, whack, then run back real fast. And I like I say, it's funny now anyway. It's like a terror. But like I say, that they had to post a guard up there and to watch and make sure that this stopped.
What happened when you went to go see a friend in the restricted barracks?
I tell you what, they have some areas there for the kids that was going to school, is that you had to be part of that group in order to go in. It's restricted. Anyone else, I mean, it doesn't seem like much, but it's a court-martial offense if you're caught in there and you're not authorized to be in there. And it is no big deal as far as I'm concerned, is that you're just going to see somebody and you leave. But no, that ain't the way it is. Well, actually, the seamen, which had the white stripes right here. Well, I was a fireman, had the red ones. So I would stand out like a sore thumb. And I knew that. But I also knew that the chances are, of any officer coming up there and walking in there and, was very slim. So I figured I'd take the chance, So anyway, that's what I did. I went on up there and went in there, and there's 50 sailors in there, I guess, and I was talking to my buddy there, and all of a sudden, attention on deck, which is what they holler whenever an officer walks in the room. And I was smart enough that when I jumped up, I jumped with my left arm, which the stripes are on, away from the officer. So if I went the other way, it'd just stand out right now. So, and I was sweating it because I figured he would, see me. I mean, whether he'd line us up or whatever he might do, that he'd end up seeing it. And I knew I was in serious trouble. I mean, it was, that there was kind of scary. But I just stood there at attention, and he growled for a little bit like they do, and, this kind of stuff, and carrying on, and he left. Well, I was still in a panic mode because I didn't know when I step out that door. And you can't just open the door, put your head out. I mean, they would say, "Hey, what are you? What are you doing?" So I had to take a chance, just open that door, and actually, if I ran onto him or any other officer, on the way, I'd be in trouble. So anyway, I had to do it sooner or later. So I opened up the door. I did look. Nobody's there, and I went out. Went down the steps, and went on out, and I thought for a second, somebody's going to scream at me, tell me to stop. But I had already decided, if they did, they're not going to catch me. I'm going to go 100 miles an hour running, because, we all look alike, with uniforms on, from the back. So, but anyway, boy, I got back, and I never did it again. It was something that, it could have really went sour on me.
Did you ever have to stand inspection at the base of Norfolk?
Oh yeah, we did that. I tell you, out there in Norfolk, it was sometimes 100 degrees, and they would put us, hundreds of us out there on the field, and of course the captain, to show his authority or whatever, is that he would always be late, very late. Well, this time here, it was about an hour, and we was all standing out there. And I tell you what, if anyone that knows anything about standing at attention knows, if you lock your knees, if you stand up there and you lock your knees, it stops the flow of blood, I guess. Anyway, that's what I've been told. So don't lock your knees, or you have to pass out or something. So anyway, we're standing out there, and it's hot. It was hot. So then, after literally about an hour, he finally shows up. But then there was people, now this is, Waves is out there too, the girls, in uniform, they was out there too. And girls and guys, all of a sudden, you just drop like a tear. Not even putting their hands in front of them. They was out, like a boom, and they just fall flat. Well, and then too, I think it's a psychological thing too, is after you see somebody pass out and you're on the verge of it, man, that's enough to put you over the line. Well, they start, they really sounded hard when they hit flop. Well, this here captain, he had just started his inspection, and they start poof, all over the place, start falling down. Well, he immediately seen there wasn't going to be anybody left to inspect after a while. So, he called off immediately. He told this other guy to call off, and, well, I tell you what, I was very unhappy about this. But anyway, I tell you what, I don't care who you were, boy, you had to be careful that you didn't lock your knees and, be one of them that's falling down. But anyway, he called it off, and, then the captain takes off, and, of course, I don't think there's anybody out there that thought very highly of him, but that's part of the Navy,
Is it true that there were signs that said, "For rent, no dogs and no sailors"?
Yeah, I heard that, and I thought that was a joke. But really, when I was riding in that bus, we heading up there, and of course, too, you catch a bus at the base, and you go uptown. I think it's 5 miles, if I recall right. You stop at almost every corner. Yes, I seen him in several yards at that time. It's against the law now, but at that time they did have on there, no dogs or sailors allowed, and before rent or whatever, And what I thought was a joke actually ended up being the truth.
Wow. What kind of activities were there uptown besides taverns and movies?
Well, I can tell you about one. I had a friend of mine, Bill Thompson, and anyway, we went up there and they had this dance studio. And the guy that ran it, the man that ran it, I always thought that he looked like Roy Rogers. You know, I mean, when I first seen him, I thought, man, this guy looks like Roy Rogers. But anyway, what it is they have some girls in there that dance with you, and you know, I don't care how bad you are, those girls are be, you know, dancing with you and telling you how good you are. You know, boy, you really got talent and this kind of stuff. Well, you know, I went around with this one for a little bit, and you know, she was trying to get me to sign up, and just you know how they do, they give you all these compliments and stuff. Well, and Bill, he was all set to sign up, and I wouldn't let him do it. And so I just figured it was, you know, something to pass some time away. So we left, but then Bill went back another time where I wasn't with him, and he signed up. And then here it is that, you know, those days of that, you know, you may have the duty, or you may be shipped out, or all these other kind of reasons, and he ended up spending a few $100s in his course, and he really never had a chance to really utilize it. So really, in a way, it's a scam, you know, but, you know, I tried to keep him out of that, but when he went by himself, he went ahead and did it. What can I do?
What happens when you wait too late for a bus to get back to the base?
Well, I tell you what, now I would recommend a person to make sure that you didn't wait too late to get on that bus, because actually out there's on the bus, there's a certain line up there by the driver, a white line. It's illegal for you to be past that line, but everyone did it. I mean to say, believe it or not, is that when you get in that bus, I mean, he packs you in. He has a hard time shutting that door. He's just like a school bus. That you're there, you're shoving you, pushing you when you're trying to get in, because you know you're willing to do that because you know that you got to get back to base. If you don't get back to base, it's AWOL, and you know the consequences are great. So anyway, if you wait too late, you stand there and bus after bus after bus, and jam packed keeps going by you. And then there is a time and a point where they stop running, and that's just if you ain't on the bus, you're in serious trouble.
Did you ever have to hitch a ride in a car?
Yeah, I've done that a couple times. But I'll tell you what, there was one time, I won't get into some of the details of it, but most of the people that give you a ride would charge a little bit of money because they're going back and forth. And then they had people in there with other reasons. But anyway, one time I needed a ride bad to back to the base, and this here guy pulls up, and usually, actually, a lot of times they only charge you a quarter or 50 cents for the ride out there. But I gets in to close the door, and there was no door handle, there was no window handle, and you know that put me into the panic mode. You know that fight or flight, and I couldn't run. So I told him what I thought. And I mean, actually, I told him that I was going to do some physical to him right quick, and he stopped, opened the door. Well, the truth is that when he started to get out, I took my foot and helped him along. I just kind of shoved him on out the door. Then I jumped out over top of him because I didn't know what else he might have. You know, he might have a gun or something else or who knows what. And I more just kicked him out the door in the street. I jumped over top of him, took off running. But, you know, you got to watch out for that, boy. I don't know how it is now, but back then, if there's no handles on that on your side, I mean, you can't get out. I mean, you better react and react immediately. And that's what happened. A few of the details I'll leave out on that. Go ahead.
Did Norfolk have a Christian center?
Yeah, I went to it one time. I went uptown, and what there was, go to the movie, get drunk, or get drunk, go to the movie. You know, I mean, you do that every day, and you get kind of tired of that. And anyway, I was up there one day, and I seen a Christian center, and I thought, hey, I'm tired of getting drunk. I just soon go in there, and I mean, I could look through the window there. I was playing chess in there, and stuff, and I figured, well, I just go in here. So I goes in there, and figured I could play a game of chess. I thought that'd be kind of neat, something a little bit different, Well, I sat down, and about 2 moves into the game, he starts preaching. And he wouldn't move. He just kept preaching. Just kept preaching. And I thought to myself, I think I'd rather get drunk. So I got up and walked out and got drunk. What else can you do,